Every time I open up social media and start scrolling, I always inevitably end up coming across someone doing their aesthetic 5 a.m. morning routine. And from the outside in, it looks pretty perfect. They've got their habits down, they're disciplined. So I figured, why not actually try it and see if it's as life-changing as some people claim? 5 days, 5:30 a.m. Let's put it to the test and see if I turn into a whole new person by the end of the week. It is currently exactly 10:30 actually. I have a few goals and thoughts going into this. Number one, I'm hoping that this can help me have a more consistent night routine. Goal number two is I want to see if this allows me to be less in a rush in the morning and take more time for my hobbies and habits. Obviously, I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. to just sit in bed and scroll. I want to get out of bed, have a productive morning, and actually use that time for either editing or whatever hobby I want to do. And goal number three is I don't want to fail. I think that's pretty obvious and self-explanatory, but since I'm only doing this from Monday to Friday, I really want to try my best to be consistent and actually stick to this. Before I forget, I am going to set my Hatch alarm for tomorrow and for the rest of this week, and is it cheating if I do 5:30? I don't know. 5 a.m. is really early, so I think I'm gonna give myself the extra half hour and set my alarm for 5:30. Bear with me, guys. Will this change my life? I honestly hope it does, because I don't think this is gonna be easy. I will see you guys bright and early. Good morning, everyone. It is currently 6:26, meaning I have been awake for almost an hour and I haven't done much, but it's been nice. On a scale of 1 to 10, this morning waking up was not that hard. I would say maybe a 4, which is surprising, but I fell asleep so fast last night. I didn't even finish a chapter. And this morning I have a Hatch alarm, as you guys may know, which is a sunrise alarm, meaning 15 minutes before my alarm is actually going off, it starts to glow, and it's supposed to mimic kind of natural light and waking up with the sunrise so that you don't feel as tired when you wake up. And I woke up a few minutes before my alarm, actually, so confused. I was like, why is my Hatch alarm bright? But no, then I remembered it's because I'm actually waking up at 5 a.m. this week. So the Hatch alarm did what it was supposed to. It woke me up naturally, which was great. And I took a little bit of time. As you saw, I journaled, I did my whole skincare routine. I also went outside and it's so nice and peaceful. It's 6:30 right now. I have to leave and start commuting for my internship at around 8 a.m. So I have plenty of time and I'm just gonna catch up on some editing. Hello friends, it is several hours later. I have in fact now been awake for 13 hours. It's 6:30 and I'm feeling pretty decent. Honestly, I'm not as tired as I thought I would be. I will say, in terms of caffeine, I did have, as you saw, a matcha today. I also had a coffee when I arrived at the office and they showed me how to use a coffee machine, and I did have another matcha in the afternoon. So that is significantly more than I would normally drink, but that's okay. It's the first day of this challenge, so obviously I'm gonna need a little more caffeine than usual. I saved this recipe on my Pinterest and I'm really excited to make it. It is a 1-pan creamy shrimp orzo. I'm gonna get to cooking and let's have a cozy night. currently almost 10:15 and I am more than ready for bed. I swear I started feeling sleepy at like 8 p.m. I was already thinking about getting ready for sleep. I got in a cute PJ set, I did my skincare, I also have my diffuser going if you can hear that in the background. And the thing with waking up so early is obviously yes, I'm getting those extra hours in the morning that I can use to be productive, but then I'm gonna start feeling sleepy obviously sooner, like is the case right now. So I'm not gonna feel obviously as awake or as energetic in the second half of my day. So ultimately it kind of balances out unless you're staying up late and not getting enough sleep. Like technically you're getting the same amount of daytime hours as someone who wakes up at 8 and just goes to bed later. But still, being part of the 5 a.m. club is an experience, and I guess we'll see if day 2 is any easier. And I'll be seeing you at 5:30 tomorrow. So good night. Today's wake up was not as seamless. I feel like you can tell just by looking at my face. I am so puffy, so I will definitely be needing to wash out or something. The problem is I wake up early, but then it takes me like 10 minutes to get up and running. 3, 2, 1. Breakfast and got dressed, and now I'm gonna quickly get ready. I don't know why I always do this to myself. Even though I woke up so early, I will put off getting ready and doing my makeup until like 5 minutes before I have to leave. It's almost a challenge. We will see how I feel today. Waking up was definitely a little bit harder than yesterday. That's it for my 5-minute makeup, but I'm gonna head out and I will see you guys later. As I mentioned, one of my goals going into this week was to see if I could have a more consistent night routine. When I would come home in the evenings, I would usually feel tired a lot earlier than usual, so instead of using that time to catch up on work, I would instead focus on habits or pastimes that I enjoyed. For example, going on walks, or my favorite, laying in bed and scrolling on Pinterest. Whereas normally on a typical evening, I could easily work well until 9 p.m. I feel like waking up so early made it easier for me to have better boundaries with my sleep schedule and night routine, and I really looked forward to getting in bed each night, so this was a nice change. Morning everyone, it is Wednesday, and as you can see I just finished getting ready. I've really been taking my time this morning, so it's already 10 a.m. which means I've technically been awake for 4.5 hours but it has been nice getting to enjoy kind of a slower and longer morning. As you saw, I did a workout, took a shower, washed my hair. I also made breakfast, cleaned up a little bit, and it's only 10 a.m. which is great because normally on any given day when I would typically wake up at around like 7 or 8 a.m. by now it would probably already be noon, and that means half of the day is gone. When I was working out this morning it was like 6 a.m. and I feel like my mind and body neither of them were fully awake. Maybe if I'd done like a gentler work out maybe a yoga flow or something like that and eased into it, it would have been easier, but I picked like a Pilates sculpt class on YouTube, and my motivation and energy levels were just not quite there yet, which is okay. I'm sure like the people that are doing 6 a.m. workout classes every day are probably used to it, and with consistency you can get there, but for now I will stick to my 9 and 10 a.m. workouts. I also curled my hair, which is always nice when I can make the time for it, which is very rare because curling my hair, it takes me like 30 to 45 minutes and I just can't squeeze that in most mornings, but when you wake up at 5:30, you do have time. I'm actually gonna pack my bag and head out to a cafe now. I feel like it'll be nice for me to get out of the house. As always, I just have some editing to catch up on. I will say, like previous mornings, I've taken advantage of the early mornings to catch up on editing first thing in the day, and that's been quite nice. I don't know what it is exactly, but I've just been able to focus so much quicker and so much more easily when I start work that early. Maybe it's because my brain hasn't encountered that many distractions yet. So that's my update. I did already have a matcha this morning, and obviously I'm gonna order something at the coffee shop as well, but I will check back in with you to update you on how my energy levels are doing. Unfortunately for my wallet, I am my most productive self when I go work at coffee shops. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the background music or the people coming and going, but I get so focused there. I got here at around 11:45 and it's now 3 p.m. So I've been working there for quite a bit and I checked a few things off of my to-do list. I also edited the rough cut to both a long form YouTube video as well as 2 Instagram reels and shorts I want to post. And I even read 2 chapters of the book that I brought, which is The Psychology of Money. If you've been watching my reset vlogs, you know that I have been reading this book since January. I will say, as much as this book is like pretty short and super easy to read and easy to get into, I don't think finance books are necessarily like my favorite resource for personal finance. I've actually started consuming more like personal finance content on my Instagram and trying to like it more so the algorithm keeps recommending it to me, and it's been really refreshing actually, because so much of the content that I get on my feed is about the things that you should buy and the trends that are going on right now. So it's nice to see someone telling you that you don't actually need any of it and like reminding you that you should invest your money and track your spending. But anyways, that was a side tangent. All this to say, I was very productive. I'm very happy with my progress, and the only reason I'm heading home now is actually just because I'm getting hungry and I have some food I can eat at home. I'm also not feeling tired, which is great. I had a matcha lemonade and then that matcha I had this morning, but I'm not feeling the need to drink more caffeine. Maybe I'll crash later, but so far so good. My friend Charlotte is also hosting a little summer get-together at her house, so I'm gonna go home, have some food, and make my way over there. Good morning, everyone. It is day 4. It's Thursday, and honestly, this morning was not easy. I did close my eyes and kind of snooze my alarm for 10 minutes there, which I'm not going to consider cheating. I was awake. I was just resting my eyes, and I still got out of bed after that, but I just couldn't get myself to be awake, so I took a shower to kind of like try to trick my body into waking up. I don't know if it helped, but I'm trying a different approach this morning, and instead of trying to be productive first thing in the morning, I have been taking it slow, and I'm actually going to get back into bed now to do some reading. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while because I feel like I always struggle to make time for reading, but when I can actually sit down and read for hours uninterrupted, it is such a great feeling and I enjoy it so much. And what's the point of waking up so early if I can't make some time for myself, you know? So I'm gonna do some reading. I've got my eye patches on as well as my matcha. I think part of the reason why waking up early this morning was so hard is because I did get home pretty late last night. As you saw, I was at my friend Charlotte's house and it was such a fun evening. We were playing frisbee and volleyball, barbecuing, and there were even fireworks. So of course I had to stay until the fireworks. I couldn't leave before that, which means that by the time I got home and was into my PJs and ready to go to sleep, it was 11 p.m., which I think is the latest I've gone to bed at so far this week. Yesterday at my friend's house, I was also so unbelievably tired, and I honestly felt bad because it was only 8:30 and I kept yawning and like dozing off. I actually had to go up to her room and like lay down for 15 minutes because I was falling asleep, which that's why I like obviously waking up early. It's nice, but 5 a.m. is so early that I feel like it means that I'm unable to partake in any social activities after like 7:30 because that just means I'm gonna be sleepy. So anyways, I took that nap and felt a bit rejuvenated after, so I was able to keep socializing. But yeah, 5 a.m. is not for the weak. That being said, I'm gonna get back in bed now with my book this time, and we will see how much I can read. On this morning, I think I ended up reading for about 2 hours, which granted, I did get distracted and go on my phone a little bit, but I think ultimately I ended up making it through about 100 pages of my book. Reading first thing in the morning definitely set the tone for my day. It's something that I love to do, but I don't really give myself the luxury of doing most mornings because I'm up and going. So I will say, if you have a busy 9 to 5 or a schedule that makes it hard for you to make time for your hobbies, waking up a little bit earlier to do so is definitely a good way to fill your cup if you're still getting enough sleep, of course. However, one thing I did notice throughout this week was that I would routinely hit a wall at around 4:30, 5 p.m. every day. That is around when my natural energy levels would dip and I would need a bit of a pick-me-up. On this day, I decided to make myself a coffee to power through because I had some editing I needed to finish. But I did notice that my natural energy would obviously go down and fluctuate differently when I would wake up at 5 a.m. I did something bad. I don't know why I did this to myself, but this is what I mean when I say I get my best editing done at night. I don't know why. I wish it wasn't the case, but I was so locked in and I just really wanted to finish my video, so I was determined to push through. And now I have to be awake in 5 hours. I want to make it crystal clear. I am not promoting sleep deprivation. I think it is very important to get enough hours of sleep each night, but I did make a promise to you guys that I was gonna wake up at 5:30 every day this week, and I keep my promises. So I'm gonna brush my teeth, tuck myself into bed, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Why did I choose to make this video again? Like, Friday was my final morning having to wake up at 5 a.m. and it was a little bit tricky, as you probably can expect, because I did not get enough sleep. And I think that's one thing that people who wake up consistently at 5 a.m. really have down, is making sure they're in bed at the same time every day, which for me is something I kind of struggle with. So I definitely felt quite tired this morning, but to get myself out of bed, I actually booked a hot yoga class that I committed to, which I do think, if you know you're trying to get into the habit of waking up earlier, having something booked booked, like a standing appointment or reservation, maybe a workout with a friend, is a good way to force you out of bed, because if you're just relying on yourself, it's a little bit harder, obviously. But despite being sleep deprived, I feel like obviously once I was up and going and my body was in motion, it was easier for me to actually get my day started and go through my to-do list. Hi everyone, it is quite a bit later now, but I thought I would check in and give you a bit of an update on how I'm feeling. To be honest, this morning wasn't as bad as I thought. Like, getting up and out of bed was definitely very difficult and I felt very sleep deprived. But once I was up and going, like, things went pretty smooth. I was also really expecting to fall asleep during my yoga class, but surprisingly I did not, and I wasn't that sleepy. But since coming back from yoga, I've been having a very chill afternoon. I did take a nap as well, which has me feeling a little bit more awake, because I definitely did not get enough sleep last night, that's for sure. Since we have reached the final day of this challenge, of course, I wanted to finish this video with my verdict. Do I think waking up at 5 a.m. makes you more productive? No. Do I think it has the potential to help you if you feel like you've been lacking structure in your day-to-day and are needing a more stable routine? Yes. The main thing I really noticed this week is that even though I was waking up a lot earlier than usual, I would get sleepy earlier in the day and kind of hit a wall at around like 4:30, 5 p.m. Even though I was waking up earlier, it kind of averaged out in terms of like how many hours during the day that I was actually productive and really awake for. Another thing I noticed, and maybe this is because I'm not really used to waking up so early, but it took me so long in the morning to get my day started, and I mean like twice as long as my morning routine usually takes me. So usually only around after 45 minutes or an hour of being awake, I would actually feel ready to start my day. Like the first hour I was just kind of adapting. Speaking of which, I wanted to go over the goals that I set at the beginning of this video. Number one, which was to try to establish more of a consistent night routine. I would say I sort of achieved this. I definitely didn't have like a super strict bedtime, but I think because I was waking up so early and therefore getting tired earlier in my day, I would naturally start thinking about getting ready for bed already at around like 8:30, 9 p.m. and then by 10:30 I was in bed reading. And honestly, I did look forward to going to bed each night. I would put on a cute PJ set, make myself a cup of tea, read my book. Goal number two was to use my time in the mornings for my hobbies, which I kind of touched on this already, but I feel like most mornings I would edit, which I guess is a hobby, but it's also kind of my job, so it didn't feel like I was necessarily taking me time first thing in the morning, except for that day that I decided to read, which was yesterday actually, and that was really nice. I will say I do recommend. And then goal number three was to not fail and not skip a day, and even though there were some mornings where I would wake up and stare at my ceiling for 10 minutes, I did wake up at 5:30 every day and I did not snooze or skip an alarm, so we successfully completed that. On that note, I am gonna wrap up this video and I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like and comment. I did wake up pretty early for this video, so feel free to also comment down below at what time you currently wake up at, because I would love to know. I'm gonna relax and take it easy, probably sleep in for the next few days, and I will talk to you guys hopefully soon in my next video. Bye!